Hi everyone, welcome to Keep Calm and Crochet. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet these cute little chickens. For this tutorial you're going to need plush yarn in the color of your choice, contrasting beak and one for the comb as well. I'm going to be working this tutorial with a 5.5mm crochet hook. In addition to this you're going to need 10mm security eyes, stitch marker, pair of scissors, darning needle, and some fiber fill. So make sure you've got all of those components. Now before we start, if you enjoy watching my tutorials, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Let's get started. We're going to start off with our main color and work a slip knot using whatever method you prefer and chain 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 13. Once you have your 13 chains, you are going to work in a oval, and to begin you're going to skip your first chain and work an increase in the second chain from your hook. Now when we say increase, it means 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So that's my first, going back into that same stitch to work another one. We're going to work 10 single crochets in a row now. Six, 7, 8, 9 and 10. This should bring you to your last stitch, and in this last stitch you're going to work 2 increases, which means a total of 4 single crochets in that same stitch. So 1 increase and my second increase. When you work your 2 increases, it will allow you to turn the corner and start working at the base of these stitches. Now to do this, you're going to work 10 single crochets at the base of all of these stitches that we worked. Slip your hook at the base, work your first single crochet, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, here's my 9th and 10th one. You should have 1 stitch left in the end, and you're going to be working an increase in there. So 2 single crochets to finish this round off. At this point you should have a total of 28 stitches. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch. There we go. I'm going to start using a stitch marker to identify the start of our round. This allows you to keep an accurate stitch count as well. So if you don't have a stitch marker, feel free to use a paper clip, hairpin, or even a scrap bit of yarn. We're going to follow the single crochet on with an increase. And this combination we will be working wherever we had an increase as well. So follow this single crochet and an increase with 10 single crochets in a row. Eight, 9 and 10. Now we're going to use that same combination from the front, which was 1 single crochet followed on with an increase, and we're doing this twice. That's my first time done. 1 single crochet followed on with an increase in the next stitch. 10 single crochets again in a row, Here's 9th and my 10th one. This leaves you with 2 stitches, and we're working that same combination from the beginning. 1 single crochet followed on with an increase. This brings your stitch count to 32. I'm going to start the next round by working 2 single crochets in a row. That's my first one. Stitch marker back in place. Here's my second, followed on with an increase in the next stitch. And here's your combination that will be repeated several times in this. Follow this combination with 10 single crochets in a row first. Seven, 8, 9, and here's my 10th one. Follow this on with that same combination, which is 2 single crochets followed on with an increase. And we're going to work that twice again. That's my first time. Same thing again, 2 single crochets followed on with an increase. Now 10 single crochets in a row. And that same combination one last time. 2 single crochets followed on with an increase in the last stitch. This brings your stitch count to 36, and it should be a perfect oval at this point. Let's start the next round by working 3 single crochets in a row followed on with an increase. Here's my first, second and third, followed on with an increase in the next stitch. 10 single crochets in a row again here. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, and that same combination from the beginning repeated twice, which is 3 single crochets, 3 followed on with an increase, 3 single crochets, and an increase again. Now 10 single crochets in a row. Eight, 9 and 10, and that same combination one last time. That's 3 single crochets followed on with an increase in your last stitch. Now this brings your stitch count to 40. We're now going to start working just in the back loops only, because this is the base of the chicken. So we're going to begin by locating our stitches. So as you can see, each of the stitches are made with 2 strands. So I'm going to find just the back loop only. You can separate that by slipping your hook in the center, like the center of the stitch, and then you only get the back loop. And here we're going to begin by working an increase only in the back loop. stitch marker, back in place. And now we're going to work 19 single crochets in a row, all in the back loops only. Nine, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 and 19. Follow this on with another increase. And then we are going to have 19 single crochets all to the end. Now you'll notice that this piece has started to bow like this, and that's totally fine. But keep your tension or your grip exactly the same as before. No looser or no tighter. So 19 single crochets in a row now. Almost to the end, 3 more stitches left. And there we go. Now at the end you should have a total of 42 single crochets, 42 stitches. Now we are going to continue working in a spiral, and we're going to start catching the full stitch again now. And we're going to begin by working 6 single crochets in a row. So catching the full stitch this time as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Follow this on with an increase. So 2 stitches, 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And here's your repeat for this round. 6 single crochets followed on with an increase, and you're going to repeat that all the way around until you get to this point where the stitch marker is. So go ahead and work that and then meet me back here. At the end of this round, your stitch count should be 48. Now we're going to start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch, stitch marker, back in place, and follow the single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. Now to finish this round, you're going to need 48 single crochets in a row. Once you've done one round, you're going to follow the same instructions 10 times altogether to have 10 rounds of just single crochet. Each round will have 48 single crochets in it. So go ahead, work 10 rounds of single crochet and then meet me back here. At the end of 10 rounds of single crochet, your stitch count should still be 48, and this is what this chicken should look like at this point. We're going to take a minute and stuff this chicken up with some fiber fill. Okay, and now hold the top part flat like this. So you're holding the stitches close together. We're going to be working 14 single crochets across, closing the top part off. So from here, to be able to do this, you're going to slip your hook in the next stitch, guide it to go through the stitches at the back as well. So if I pull these apart, you can see I've gone through the front and back stitches in one go. Pull up a loop and work your first single crochet. Move on to the next stitch and next stitch at the back as well. Pull up a loop from both sides and work a single crochet again. Just like this, you're going to be working 14 single crochets in a row. That's my third, fourth, fifth, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Now 4 more left. Here's my 11th one, 12th one, 13th, and my 14th one. Now this should leave you with 20 stitches around this area. Sometimes you might be left with 19 just in case you haven't caught the end of the stitch there, but that's okay. 19 or 18, 19 or 20 stitches is fine. I'm left with 20. So you're going to start, now once you finish this part, you're going to start working around here. So we're going to leave the back stitches and work a single crochet round. So 1 single crochet here, not touching the back part. 3, I'm going to quickly put my stitch marker here just so I can identify exactly where the starting point is for me. I'm going to just continue working these. That's my 18th, 19th and this 20th stitch here. So I've got exactly 20 single crochets all the way around. Now I've gone back to the starting point, and from here you are going to continue working another round of single crochets. That's why the stitch marker is so important. I've taken that off. I'm going to slip my hook from this side, pull up a loop so I can continue working in spiral. So stitch marker back in place. And we're going to work another round of just single crochets. Here's my 2nd, 3rd, and there we go. Now I've made my way around all the way again. So I've just worked 2 rounds of single crochets just on this side. I'm going to take a minute. Let's pull the stitch out so we don't lose it. I'm going to take a minute and insert some security eyes. The size I'm using is 10 millimeters. So to be able to do this, you're going to squish the front part like this as well. And just squeeze it down. And you're going to be inserting the eyes in 1 round below. So you are going to, so where the middle point is, turn, count 2 stitches or 3 stitches over, insert 1 eye. Do the same thing on the other side, 1, 2, 3 stitches over, insert the other eye, and just from the front have a look if you're happy with the positioning. I'm happy with the positioning, so I can go ahead and put the backing on now. And from here, we're going to continue working our next couple of rounds. So once you've worked your 2 rounds of single crochet, we're going to work 6 single crochets in a row. Here's my 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and my 6th one. Now, if you had, for example, 19 or 18 stitches, you still keep that part exactly the same. And from here, you're going to work 4 decreases in a row. To work a decrease, you're going to slip your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, do the same with the stitch after that, pull up a loop. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. That's my first decrease. I'm going to be working 4 of those. That's second, third, and my fourth one. Once you worked your 4 decreases, you should be left with 6 stitches. However, if your stitch count was not quite 20, you might be left with less, but that's okay. You're going to just finish this round off with single crochets all the way to the end. And here's my last one. Let's take the stitch marker off. And now we're going to be working a final round to close this gap off. So for that reason, make sure you stuff the head up with some fibre fill all the way to the top. And we are going to work decreases in this round. Now we're going to keep working decreases until the gap is gone altogether. So if your stitch count didn't match, your number of decreases won't match either, but that's all right. You're just working decreases all the way around until all of this gap has disappeared. So 1 decrease. Here's my second one. So I'm going to keep doing this. There's still some space there. I'm going to take a minute and insert some more fibre fill before I close the gap off. So stuff it up nice and well because you won't get a chance to do it later. I've only got tiny gap left now, and if you wish to use a darning needle to stitch this, you certainly can, or you can just continue working decreases until the gap is really small that you can just work a slip stitch in the opposite stitch. I'll show you that method right now. So I've worked a total of 8 decreases, and now the gap is so tiny I can simply slip my hook in the opposite stitch, pull up a loop, make this loop go through the loop that's already on your hook, and I can go ahead and snip this yarn off, pull it out of the stitch and pull this down gently to secure this in place. And there we go. Slip your hook from further away, make it come out from that same stitch, loop this yarn onto your hook and pull this into the head. If it comes out from another side, you can certainly snip it off or you can push it back inside the body. I'm going to quickly push some fibre fill up like this, and that completes the body of this chicken. Moving on to the comb. And for this, let's grab our red yarn or whatever colour you would like the comb to be and work a slip knot and chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Skip your first chain and the second one and we're working our stitches in the third one. So this chain 2 is going to be your first half double crochet. Yarn over. We're going to be working half double crochets in the third chain from the hook. Skip the first 2. Slip your hook in the third one. Pull up a loop. 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 in one go. Now those are my 2 half double crochets. Yarn over, go back into that same stitch to work a double crochet this time. Pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through first 2, yarn over, pull through next 2. I'm going to work 2 half double crochets in that same stitch again. That's my first and here's my second. Altogether, I've got 5 stitches, all in that same chain stitch. Moving on to the next one, and you're going to just work a single crochet in that space. And in the stitch after that, we'll repeat this process. Yarn over, start with 2 half double crochets, 1 double crochets, and then 2 half double crochets, all in that same stitch. So let's do this all together. Here's my first half double crochet, second, yarn over to work the double crochet this time, 2 more half double crochets, all in that same stitch, and once you've worked your 5 stitches, you're going to work a slip stitch in the next, a single crochet in the next stitch, like this. 2 stitches left, you're going to repeat that same process one more time. So that's 2 half double crochets, 1 double crochet, and 2 more half double crochets, and a single crochet in the last stitch here. And now we are going to chain 1, snip this yarn off, leaving a long tail, pull it out of the stitch, pull this down, and pull this one further as well, so it closes the little gap that might be appearing. And there we go. This is the comb of this chicken. We will be sewing this on top of our chicken. So let's grab that, and let's grab our darning needle, thread this big strand into your darning needle, hold the comb right in the front. So I'm going to be sewing this. So here are the eyes. I'm going to be sewing it, starting to sew it right in the middle of a round above. So I'm going to start off by catching 1 stitch right in the middle, pull this in. You should have 2 strands coming out from the same side. So I'm going to take the other strand as well and give them both a knot in place. Now that's nice and secure. I can turn this sideways, flatten the base, hold it against the head flat like this, and we're going to stitch this together. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to lay it flat and keep it straight in the middle of the head. So you're going to catch 1 stitch on the head and 1 stitch on the comb, 1 stitch on the head, keeping it central, 1 stitch on the comb, my last stitch left here, and I'm gonna go through that same stitch a couple of times, create a loop with my thread, slip your needle inside that loop and pull this down gently, and this will create a knot in place. Slip your hook or the needle back inside that same stitch, guide it to go through some fibre fill, come out from another side of the body, pull this out, and we can go ahead and snip this now. And take the fluff off, pull this up, and there we go. This is going to be all gathered up like this, and that's perfect. That's exactly the look we are going for. In the front, we've still got this strand. Let's get rid of this by slipping your hook from further away. Make it come out from that same stitch where this thread is coming out from. Loop this onto the hook and pull this inside the head. And there we are. That is also taken care of. Now we're going to grab some yarn that you would like the beak to be. So we are going to be using this gold color yarn. And let's hold this chicken right in the center like this, and let's have a look. Here are the eyes. Comb is right in the middle as well. It will be gathering up at the front, at the top. That's totally fine. You're going to be making this beak, embroidering this beak in between the eyes. I'm going to keep it 3 stitches wide. As you can see, that's exactly how many stitches I've got centrally positioned in between the eyes. So I'm going to pull this yarn out from one side. I can now go ahead and snip this shorter, hold it down, and I'm going to just simply keep going through those 2 stitches a few times until I've got the desired size of the beak. Each time I like to make sure that the strands are not too far apart and positioning them on top of one another like shown. And one more time. I'm happy with this size of beak. Now you're going to move it over to the other side and tie a knot between these 2 strands that you've got, making sure that the knot sits on the edge or the corner of the stitch. Like this. And once we've done that, I can go ahead and snip this yarn down to a smaller size as well. Use my hook, slip in from further away, make it come out from that same stitch, loop both of these ends on and pull them both into the head or the body. Now if they come out from another side, you're welcome to snip them off. And there we go. This completes our little chicken or a hen. If you enjoyed making this hen with me, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.